The next person we're going to hear from is running as an independent candidate. His name is Harry Trivedi. Hope I'm saying your name right. He's a physician who specializes in kidney disease. I would say nephrologist, but I don't know what you think. He's married to a doctor and has 3 teenagers. He's currently a professor of medicine at the Medical College of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, and I'd like you to welcome him.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I can't thank the organizers enough to give me this opportunity. So, a question which I get asked all the time recently, and the media has been asking me, so what made you do this? What made you? And my response is that I just got tired of the partisanship, the bickering, the lack of ideas, the lack of vision, and really a lack of leadership. And I thought I just had to do this. So here I am, and I'm just enjoying this moment, and I'm enjoying this experience, and I'm enjoying meeting all of you. We need to change things here in Wisconsin. We need to change things here drastically. We need to rejuvenate the economy. And I strongly believe we will not be able to do that unless we attract external capital. We have to attract external investments. We need to promote agriculture. We are in the prime Midwest location, surrounded by highly productive neighbors. But still we are at the bottom rung of in agricultural productivity. We need to promote Wisconsin tourism. You see ads about Michigan.org, the state of Florida, but the state of Wisconsin has done nothing to flaunt the summertime beauty of Door County and our beautiful areas of northern Wisconsin. We need to promote education, not cut funds towards education. That's a false economy. It might seem good in the short term to save a few dollars, but like President Obama says, people that out-educate us will out-compete us. You know, the highest number of scientific articles used to be from the United States. Now guess where they are from? China. That's where we are, and unless we do something quickly and we do it decisively, we will keep deteriorating. So this is really not the right time to cut education. It's in fact to enhance education. It's, the employers, business leader, even the Federal Reserve has said that their employers have trouble finding skilled workers. We've got a national 8.5% unemployment rate, and it blows my mind that employers are not finding workers. What tells us that we need to provide people the tools to compete. And therefore, again, cutting education is absolutely the wrong thing to do. We need active fiscal management, not like when the crisis occurred in 2008, everyone just waited for everything to fall apart, and then people could do is sign furlough notices and pink slips. We have to be proactive, we need to have a plan, we need to see what the global perspective is, and constantly act proactively, not retroactively. We should actively, I intend to actively have public participation. It's not about becoming a governor is not the end, it's just the beginning. We need to constantly engage people, and in important issues, even, this is the electronic media. It's very easy to take even non-binding, not a referendum every time, but a non-binding public poll as to what people think. And we need to raise the level of morality. I mean, besides the wrongness of this taking away the collective bargaining rights, because I think that's extreme, the way it was done was absolutely incorrect. It's just, even the idea of putting troublemakers into the crowd of demonstrators, even the idea of that holding the threat of severing, jobs of state employees. I mean, that's just wrong. And we should say here in Wisconsin, use the power of our voice that we will not tolerate dirty politics in Wisconsin. We will not tolerate dirty I mean, it's not about being a governor. I mean, I don't have to be a governor. I mean, yes, it's a title, you know, it's a power, but I have a full, satisfied professional life. But I want to make a difference. I want to energize Wisconsinites. I want to invigorate the state of affairs. Becoming the governor is not the end, it's just the beginning. And I'll need all of your support, and I'll greatly appreciate and will be honored by your support.
Okay, our next presenter was born in Aurora, Illinois, and represents District 31 in the State Senate, and has been doing so since 2007. She's an organic farmer from Alma, and also has a PhD in health services research from St. Louis University. She's a former administrator at the University of Illinois and a member of the Fab 14. She's married with one son, Kathleen Vinehout.
One year ago, last night, I and my colleagues were sitting in a Culver's in Freeport, Illinois at 10:30 at night, and we didn't know where we were going to sleep. And my sister was with me, and she said, "Why don't you come and sleep at my house?" And so began the odyssey of the Wisconsin 14. And my sister is here today, and those of you who have know that she was with us all the way through. She knows all about all the Wisconsin 14 that didn't show up with their underwear or their medicine. Her husband went to the store and bought about 4 different sizes of t-shirts, and they couldn't figure out why. I got a call 1 year ago yesterday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. Senator Miller called me, and he knows I used to be a dairy farmer, and he gets up, he knew I got up early, so he called me first, and he said, "Kathleen, don't go to the Capitol, because if you go to the Capitol, you're going to be followed by a state patrol officer, and your options are going to be very limited." He was right. We didn't go to the Capitol. Instead, we went to the Democratic headquarters, and then 3 hours later, I was headed for the Illinois border, intent on making that border before the gavel fell, opening that Senate session on the morning of the 17th of February. And when I drove south, the overwhelming feeling I had was a feeling of freedom. I had been prepared to go to the floor to debate the bill, to amend the bill, to delay the bill. But in the end, I knew that they had the votes, and there was nothing that we could do to stop it if we went to the floor to vote on it. But we had the power to stop the process. Now the Wisconsin Senate doesn't have a filibuster like the United States Senate does, but we did have a provision in the Constitution that gave us the ability to stop the process. And over and again, and even this past week, I think that a lot of people in Wisconsin still don't understand why we did what we did, especially in my neighborhood, Western Wisconsin, where the news from Madison doesn't make it out because we think the capital is vaguely in St. Paul. And you know all about Act 10 and what was in Act 10, not only the crushing of workers' rights, but the selling off of state assets and no-bid contracts, and the page after page after page I read of changes in the Medicaid law that allowed an unelected official to make all these decisions about our health programs. All of the changes in the civil service system that Bob LaFollette had put in place in 1905. He was dismantling the civil service system. So the bill was very, very bad. But by leaving the state, we gave people time to understand what was in that bill, time to communicate, time to organize, and time for the people of the state to claim their own power. And we helped people connect the dots. And when they connected the dots, they were outraged by that picture that emerged. And when I think about what happened, what we did was we explained to the nation what was happening. We, all of us in Wisconsin, and the nation responded with a national movement. And it did not end after we came back home. To consolidate their power, the Republicans went to pass a change in the voting law. And many of you were in the gallery that day when we passed that voting law, and you will remember what happened. You remember the gallery, the Senate gallery, how it's covered by 3 sides. And all of the people that came to the gallery that day wore black. Many people were here. And when Senator Risser, the longest serving state legislator, stood up to speak, he was gavelled down by the president and told he could not speak. And they gavelled the session to a close and wouldn't even let the Democrats finish voting. And we stood up and we said, you can't change the rules, you can't change the rules. But they did change the rules. And the people who were all dressed in black, who had been silent through the whole process, they got up and they shouted, shame, shame, shame. And they read speeches on voting rights. And then everyone joined hands and sang, including some of the senators, including I and Spencer Cox and other senators on the Senate floor, and were saying, we shall overcome. And they filmed everything and put it on YouTube so the people in my district could actually find out what was happening in Madison. Because, of course, Wisconsin I turned off the camera. I believe that the people took back our state in those moments after we left the state. We gave the people the opportunity to do that, but they responded, and had they not responded, what would have happened would have been what happened in Illinois. I mean, in Indiana, when the Indiana representatives came to Illinois and no protesters showed up and nothing changed in Indiana. Everything had to work together, and it did. And that's exactly why we had such a huge reaction from all over the state when 1 million people signed the recall petitions to give Governor Walker his pink slip. Something is happening across this great state. And I think it is typified by the reaction of the people who were the legendary box carriers. Are there any legendary box carriers here? Raise your proud hands. Let's give these people a round of applause. The legendary box carriers carried those boxes up the stairs, from the U-Haul up the stairs to the Government Accountability Board. And Sheila, who's from Black River Falls and couldn't be here today because she was sick, but she gave absolutely emotional, with tears in her eyes, story of what it was like to be the legendary box carrier. And she said, when I first picked up the box, it was very, very heavy. And in the box, I felt the pain of losing a job. I felt the heartbreak of a home in foreclosure. I felt the fear of a parent who was worried that their son or daughter was going to lose health care. And she said, I carried that box, and I saw the people, and I heard the cheers, and I felt inside the box was the hope of the people. It was the determination of the people. It was the respect of the people all over the state. It was the courage of those people who felt like they might lose their job. And she said, when I got up those stairs to the top of the stairs at the GAB, my box was as light as a feather. Right now, Wisconsin needs a fresh start. We need a new beginning in government and politics. We need to heal the divisions among us and respect each other as we debate our differences. We need to stop pitting business against labor and stop pitting the public sector against the private sector. We are all suffering, and we are all in this together. And we need everyone together, their best efforts, to make our communities the kind of great places to live and work and raise a family. We are only going to move forward if we move forward together. We need a fresh start. We need a new beginning. We need a governor who's going to be truthful about her intentions. We need a governor who's going to practice. We need a governor who's going to practice self-restraint. We need a governor who's going to respect Wisconsin Wisconsin's traditions of good government that we spent the whole day talking about today. Of good government, of openness, of full participation, of following the rules like Representative Barkett learned they didn't do. We need a governor who's going to bring us together, and I pledge to be that kind of governor. Now, I'm often asked by people, what can we do, Kathleen? Can you please make your colleagues get along a little bit better? And I say to them, I can't change anyone but myself. But I live my life by the saying of Gandhi, be the change you want to see. So I have a challenge to you today. If you don't like money in politics, don't vote for the politician with the most money. And if you don't like sound bites, vote for the politician that respects your intelligence. If you don't like negative campaigning, vote for the politician that talks solutions, not trash. And if you don't like politics as usual, vote for the unusual politician. Thank you very much.